I Respectfully Disagree podcast. Back with another episode. Um, Not sure how long this is gonna be. Um, I know normally we're usually laughing and joking, but I think, and I don't want to speak for Avery, but this is more of a serious matter. Um, I know for me personally, I've had several episodes that's been geared towards what can we do in regards to helping our youth, and it just seems like summer after summer it just keeps getting worse. And some of the videos that I seen yesterday was very disturbing. And Avery, you reached out to me and you said that you wanted to discuss it and talk about it. And I think that's very important because we're on two different spectrums in terms of how we view this. Currently you don't have children. So I felt like
Nope.
in the past, that's kind of what was the wedge between viewpoints between a person that has kids versus someone that doesn't. And I feel like this right here may have helped you reach a boiling point. I'm not sure how you feel yet. I'm going to give you the floor, but it's just watching that yesterday, knowing that this is the time of year for this city where it's supposed to be a joyous occasion. All the events that's kicking off, Derby coming up. And I know a lot of families hold a lot of traditions and things, and you're slowly seeing that diminish.
That is correct. So growing up, living in Louisville, um, we used to go to, it was a yearly tradition for us. We'll go to the Thunder over Louisville. We'll go, hang out down at the Chow Wagon, the different events, go to the parade. It was a family fun event. It was never anything that we're seeing now where it's turning into violence. And last night for me was like it was the boiling point. Like for years, I've always tried to give the benefit of the doubt, just because I've been on that side. I've acted in a way that was not totally 100% respectful. But after what I saw yesterday, it was just out of control. Um,
It was
it,
very
it
disturbing.
is. Yeah, I just like you got what started off because all you got the parade that was going on, so you got
Mhm.
all these families are down there at the parade, and then when the parade's over with, you had a lot of these individuals, these young people who decided, well, let's go over to the Chow Wagon in that area, and it's like it didn't used to be that way. The parade was on a Thursday, so typically Thursday is a school day. People
Mhm.
will go home and then get ready for well, Thursday. Sometimes the school be canceled, but still though, like it was managed much, it was much better managed. But like this year in particular, it just on that Louisville Hood News on Facebook, the first video what you see sheriff department, you got Metro Correction officers, they're detaining this young lady, they're yelling, it's cussing, they're being surrounded. You can tell they look overwhelmed, and they're trying to escort this young lady outside of the area to remove her. And then you get water thrown at them, and now they're chasing whoever threw the waters. Like it's just a total lack of respect for law and order, a total lack of respect for your neighbor, because it's like you got other families that are down there who are just there to try and have a good time with their family and
Right.
friends, and to see something like that, it's just like I don't have kids, but I don't think that I would want to even start a family living in a city where you have individuals acting in a manner like that. I just don't see it. I grew up here in Louisville, born and raised. You know, I used to make a joke, man, I ain't from Louisville, from Los Angeles. I got my family from Los Angeles. I'm born and raised in Louisville. And when I was growing up, we could stay out 1, 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. We'll be out there playing football, playing basketball, just doing things that, young people do. We wasn't out there trying to get into no fist fights. We wasn't out there causing problems for the police. throwing water on the police. We wasn't doing nothing like that. We wasn't out there with guns and ARs and all that stuff that you see nowadays. It's like I don't know what happened, but it's gone downhill so badly, and I don't know if there's a way for us at this very moment. I don't see a way out. I really don't. And that's why I reached out to you, because I was just so frustrated. It's like, man, what do we do? What can we do as a community to, protect us, to make sure that we're safe in these spaces? Because at the end of the day, that's all that we really want. I want people to go out there and have fun and enjoy themselves. At that age, that's a great time for them, being, 16, 17, 18. That was some of the best times of my life. But I also want people to be respectful. I want people to be safe.
The crazy thing is, man, that group of kids on some of them clips that I saw, they were younger than that. They're younger
so
than 15.
Who was it? Didn't you say that one of them was your former?
I ain't gonna sit on here and snitch out people and things like that. Like, first of all, I was gonna post the video and share it on this live, but then I'm like, you know what? At the end of the day, these are juveniles, parents. You know what I'm saying? I
respect that. I respect that.
But on a particular clip, soon as I opened it up, I looked and I was like, nah, that can't be. And sure enough, it was one of the players that I used to coach. They're in middle school now. So, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, even my interactions with this particular person during elementary school basketball, it was always, you can see kids when they're teetering that fence in regards to, do I want to walk the straight and narrow, or am I being influenced by other peers? And then you start seeing that kid shift and lean towards making all the bad choices. And in this particular case, we always try to encourage this kid, give him different incentives, things like that, to uplift them, shed a positive light. And we were using basketball as the means of doing that. Just, hey, if you could go through the whole day without getting in trouble at school, then you can do this at practice, or at the end of the week, we'll do this, we'll do that. And even with that, it's like the principals and them always having to have conversations with these same group of kids. And now you fast forward, they're in middle school, and then boom, soon as you open up your social media, that's the first thing you see, which shows, again, misguided youth.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't want to sit here and put labels and things on these kids and stuff, but I think more or less for me today, the reason why I'm doing this episode is because I feel like we've highlighted the issue on several occasions. I recall me and DJ having a conversation. I think me, DJ, and Mario did an episode. Shout out to Mario, and my therapist made me do this podcast. And it's like, okay, cool. We keep identifying the issue. We know it's an issue. We know it's bigger than Louisville. This is happening all across the country. So continuously shedding a light on the issue doesn't help resolve the issue. And it's like, where or what resources and things can we lean on to help maybe change some of that? Because it wasn't too long ago, I want to say it was either here or Lexington, the jumpy place, the little trampoline park.
It was here, Jump Zone, on Dixie. They had that big old fight.
It was a big old brawl and stuff for that. So I saw a lot of comments yesterday and was like, man, these kids are acting out because they don't have anywhere to go. They don't have nothing to do. They don't have nothing to do for fun. And I was like, first of all, I disagree. I respectfully disagree, because the outlets and things that they do have in place, they do the same exact thing.
Yep.
You growing up, for me, bro, we used to be just excited to just go hang out at the mall for a little while. And then once, we all catch a movie. So we would walk from the mall across to the movie theater, and then our parents came and picked us up. It wasn't no craziness other than, we may have been inappropriate chasing after girls and things like that.
Yeah.
But we wasn't out breaking no laws. We wasn't out disrespecting people that are in positions of authority. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't sitting here turn down and turn up shit.
Stealing golf carts from police. Like,
That's what I'm saying. And it's like we literally had the trust of our parents to where they could be like, all right, it's 7:00. The movie may start at 9. So you have from 7 to 10:30 or 11, and your parents trusted you to act like a civilized human being, somebody that had home training. Where now, shit, it almost feel like, man, these parents is dropping these kids off just so they ain't got to deal with them. I don't give a damn what you do, just get out of the house. So now when you put that element out there, these kids know that they're coming in with no supervision, and half of these people that are working at these establishments, they don't want to deal with that shit either. So now you get pure chaos. And it hurt me to watch them videos yesterday, because if you look, a lot of that security and enforcement, they were elderly people.
They wouldn't even, it wasn't even LMPD. It was sheriff's deputies and Metro Corrections, individuals who, don't get me wrong, they've went through their training and things like that, but they're not trained on the same level to deal with crowds like Louisville Metro Police Department and National Guard, people who deal with that. They're not trained like that. And like you said, they're older individuals. Like, there was the third video I sent you, the one that had the stolen gun, and you see the old man get knocked on the ground. Like, that was some of the saddest stuff I've seen, man. It was like, you know, you can tell he was just like overwhelmed, and he was just like, you can see the fear in his eye, because he didn't know if he was going to make it home. He just recovered a gun, and now he's being attacked, and it's like,
shout out
where
to
are we at?
Live, right? They know the parents don't even care, so they know they're not going to get in trouble, and I wholeheartedly agree with that, because at the end of the day, there are no consequences, and I get it. Big picture, people are like, oh well, blame the system because now we can't discipline our kids the way we used to. It's like, bro, there's so many other methods to just beating kids.
That's one thing I seen. The guy was like, man, you know what the problem is? You got CPS in the homes. You can't, people ain't spanking the kids. And I was like, spanking is not the only form of discipline out there. You know, just being around, being present, being visible. You know, my dad didn't spank me. My mom didn't spank me like that. I mean, when I got in trouble, I did bad. I got it every so often, but it was not consistent. You know, it was other ways they spoke to me, and not say punish me, but just we talked, and they got to the root cause of why I was acting the way I was acting. You don't have that no more. You just have parents who will, and I'm not trying to sit here and make it seem like I'm trying to dog out parents out there in the world, because I know at the end of the day, you know, a lot of them are just doing the best they can with the resources that they have. But it's like, you got a lot of these young kids who I went to school with, who was young, and you know, they ended up having babies at 16, and they really didn't know what it was to be a good mother and father. And now that cycle is being, you know, repeated. You got these young kids, these babies having babies. There is no adult figures. There's no big mamas out there who you can go to and who will shut this shit down. That you don't got that no more. Ain't nobody out there. It's just sad to see, man.
And that's why I was just like, you know, for me, again, not to, you know, keep repeating myself, it was like, it really broke me down simply off the fact that this is supposed to be a joyous occasion. I don't feel like any person that worked security and stuff woke up yesterday and was like, it's a beautiful Sunday. The Pegasus parade is today. You know, we just out enjoying the weather. People come down to the chow wagon, just enjoy the weekend, bro. Like, this is, you know, in closing, we heading into Monday morning. You know, most people back to the grind, back to work. So Sunday is just a day to unwind, relax, enjoy the sun, enjoy some good food. And like you said, it may not be where they're properly trained, but overall, that's a overwhelming situation, because you're talking about 30 to 40 plus juveniles.
Just probably more than that too.
That's what I'm saying. Just running wild, creating chaos. You're gonna steal, authorities golf cart, not
You
knowing
got
that
the
you may
recovery
run over people.
guns. You got people, they got recovered a gun on the scene. That one, like the first two, okay, these young people, but you got recovering weapons. Like that's a whole nother story now. It's like
It's
you got
definitely a
guns
whole
involved.
other story. And
And now, you know, there's a different way you have to respond. If a LMPD officer out there, he's gonna have to secure that scene. And who's to say he doesn't draw his weapon? Who's to say that he sees what he may perceive as a threat and then respond, and then someone ends up shot? It's like they're not thinking about that when they make these decisions to go down here and cause these problems. And at the end of the day, you know, we they've already made decisions. Like, not I'm talking about the Kentucky Derby Festival. They've already said you got to be 18 and older to come to these things. If you're 17 and under, you got to have a parental. You got to have someone right there who's going to be chaperoning you. They're just how they do it at the mall. They said, you know what, moving forward. And it's like I feel bad for the individuals, the young men and women who who are doing good, who are out there just having fun, not causing any problems, because they're being lumped in that. Now they can't go out there without having a chaperone. It sucks, but at the end of the day, if the parents are not going to do what the necessary things they need to do, and take care of the situation and police their kids, the government's going to do what they got to do and protect protect the innocent. And that's exactly what they're doing. This is the first step. Now it could clearly go to another level, and they've done it before. When it got too crazy in the summertime, they put a curfew out. They put a curfew out on us, and they said, after a certain time, you can't be on the street. And
I honestly feel like it's going to slowly get back to that.
Yeah, it's like it's going to have to. It's like we're not even in summertime yet, and
that's what I'm saying. Like, it ain't even fully hot for real.
No,
I've always posted, my thoughts and things, and for all my life, I've been pretty much a homebody.
Mm-hmm.
I know I get labeled as antisocial sometimes, but it's like, bro, I legit do not like large crowds of people, strictly for that reason. If I'm in an environment where I constantly feel like I got to keep checking to make sure ain't nothing going on, and now I got my kids out here with me, so now it's like, okay, if something does happen, I need to plan for how I'm going to round up my family and get everybody where we need to get to. So for me, it's just like I don't even have the desire to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to family traditions and things like that, for yourself, y'all have a large family. So those are memories and things that they want to instill in each generation of kids. So they've always gone to the Pegasus Parade, always went to the Chow Wagon, the Balloon Glow, and all the events that take place downtown. So they got up and went yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I declined. I'm like, you know what? Nope. I was like, I want to spend my Sunday in the peace of my own home. But it's like, even at the parade, they were saying that things was happening at the parade. Kids is running in and out of businesses. That's, what was it on Broadway yesterday?
Yeah, on Broadway.
So kids are running in and out of the businesses and stuff. And it's like, dude, nobody, like, you're not even prepared for that. And I get it. Everybody's like, man, you can't put all that on the parents. The kids is going to act the way they want to. And I'm like, again, I'm going to push the button. I disagree. Because we've had several summers of the same activities over and over and over. Are you still there? I don't know if I lost you. Hold on. I think we lost Avery. Saying we hate big crowds. It's too risky. Like, I swear, Penny, I swear. Like, I can't do it no more. Let me check on him real quick. I don't know if he's got bad internet connections or what, but I'll go ahead and continue talking while hopefully he tries to log back in. There he goes.
Can you hear me?
I got you back now.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry. For some reason, when it took a call and it kicked me out.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm saying that oftentimes people are offended by people saying, man, I blame the parents. I blame the parents. And like I was getting ready to say, I was like, respectfully, I disagree with that notion because this has been going on for years now. You mentioned the curfew at the mall and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, if I know that it's a possibility that my young teenager can link up with their friends and get in trouble, then guess what? I'm not even finna drop you off no more.
Nope.
You ain't going down there unless I'm down there with you, or unless I know that you with an adult. If you see your friends, you can holler at them in passing. But in terms of me just dropping you off and meet me somewhere in a few hours, them days is over. And that's how you try to help control some of that in hopes that you'll slowly dwindle down these occurrences to the point to where people feel safe enough to even come out there. I bullshit you not. Excuse my language. Bro, we literally just took Aubrey to what's it called? Parlor Pizza
Yep, Parlor Pizza, and they had that. I remember you telling me about this.
over there on the Indiana side. And we're sitting there eating, had no idea. Like, you saw a whole bunch of police cars and stuff pull up. We're inside eating, so we're not paying attention. So we come out, we took the kids across the street to the little ice cream thing. We just all hanging out here, not realizing that on the other side of the walking bridge, a damn fight and a shootout had occurred. So it's like you can't even take your family out on the walking bridge and just walk around downtown Louisville without the fear of something breaking out. So that's why it's like, bro, I have no desire.
Mm-hmm.
And then last week, my daily routine is I watch the Gilbert Arenas show or whatever, and I go to my YouTube, and I have no idea why this even popped up and suggested it or whatever, but apparently there's been some viral videos going around, and it's about the most dangerous hoods in Louisville.
Yep.
And I'm like, I want to walk on this very, very lightly because, again, I don't want to disrespect anybody's families or put no targets or nothing on my back just for discussing it. But I'm just like, when I first started watching it, I was looking at it in disgust. I'm gonna be honest, because I'm just like, bro, like there's no hope. But then I saw one where it was like, okay, I get what the person whose channel it is they're trying to do. They're trying to shed some positive light and talk about the neighborhoods, and it wasn't to glorify the negativity. So once I saw that aspect of it, I was like, okay, I peep what they're doing. Kudos. But then another one pops out, and it's like, this is literally the neighborhood where my kids go to school at. And you see all these young people walking around with these guns and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, I drive down this damn street every single day. And I'm just like, I had no idea. So now I'm looking at it because I'm intrigued, because I've been living here in Louisville now for 13 years. And I guess because I don't go outside for real, a lot of this stuff that's happening, you only hear about it on the news. But I'm like, bro, like, I pass by a lot of these places on a regular basis, and I had no idea. So now I'm pissed off again. And I'm saying all of this because a few weeks ago, Peyton's not feeling good. I take him and my wife, we go to immediate care right here on Dixie, Norton's, in the plaza where the trampoline park, Roosters, and all of that is, Texas Roadhouse.
Right there off the Dixie exit right there.
So it's right before closing. I want to say maybe like 8, 9 o'clock or something. And I dropped them off so they can go on in. We didn't know if it was going to be a long wait or whatever. And I was like, here, I'm going to go to Roosters and grab me some food. So I put the order in. I'm sitting in my car. And I'm like, got the car running because it was kind of cool that night. And I go in, get my food. So I'm sitting in the car eating. And I'm always paying attention to my surroundings. Like I'm just one of them people where I'm never gonna just relax. Like I'm always paying attention. And I just so happen to check my mirror, my side mirror, and I see somebody hunched down towards the back of my car. Like, wait a minute. I'm like, nah, it can't be. So then when I turn my head and I see out of this mirror, it was 2 more people. They got their hoods up, coming up the side of my car. Luckily for me, I had backed into the spot, so I'm facing forward already. And my first instinct is I just threw it in drive and just punched the gas. Man, somebody could have been coming, could have T-boned me, anything. But I'm like, my head on a swivel, I just punched the gas. So I go down towards Texas Roadhouse, and when I make that loop, you see 3 people take off running.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, bro, like I'm sitting in a parking lot in my car, and I guess I'll take accountability because it's like I shouldn't have been in my car with the car running anyway to even give people the illusion that they can just come up and take my shit. But I'm like, should we really be living that much in fear to where you can't even sit in your fucking car and eat without fear of somebody coming to try to take your fucking shit? Like, bro, like
It's a
it's
very busy parking lot too. It's not like it's
like lights and everything out there,
on the fucking main strip of
bro.
Dixie right there.
It ain't like it was midnight, 1:00 in the morning. A lot of these businesses are closed, bro. People are walking in and out of Roosters. People are outside, and them motherfuckers was getting ready to come and take my car, bro. And I was just like, so now when I see the YouTube video and all these vlogs and shit that's going around, bro, like I'm not even gonna lie for no podcast or nothing. Like I sit there and watch this shit in disgust, and that's why I was just like, I'm gonna be mindful of what I say because these are people's kids, cousins, nieces, nephews, whatever. So I don't want to disrespect anybody, and I don't want to put no target on my back to where somebody see me, use that one motherfucker that was talking shit, blah blah blah. Like I don't even want to be included in them conversations. So I'm being careful on what I say, but I'm just like, to me, I feel like that's part of the problem too. You got all these kids trying to be internet famous. So social media has amplified this whole YN trend and all that shit. And it's like,
I hate that. I hate that term with a passion, man. That YN, like I seen a video and there's this one little kid they called him YN. He said, "Please don't call me that. If you want to call me something, call me a YM, a young man. Don't call me that young man. Like I respect something like that, but YN is like." Especially like I see Caucasian people using it, like what's this YN right here? Like whoa, like you get a little too comfortable. But that's
that's what I'm
besides the
saying.
point.
It's the internet, bro. It's
Yeah,
the
oh
internet.
yeah, I know. Social media is a beast. They got these people out here, feeling like they want to, get their cloud up, and that's why you see these individuals on like YouTube and all this stuff. They got these weapons and stuff. It's like, bro, if I can see it, I'm pretty sure LMPD, ATFD, they can see it too. What are you doing?
It
Like y'all
makes
not smart
zero
out here.
sense. It makes zero
Y'all
sense.
tell on yourself. Like,
And I'm just like, man, I done drove through here so many times, and now it's like, okay, when I pass through here, it's like now I'm always head on a swivel, looking, peeping, and it's almost like, dude, again, the shit is being glorified, bro.
mm-hmm. Like I know, like growing up, we did what we did and stuff. We had fun, and I know things change. I really do. I know that's one thing about life is change is constant. But I never expected to get this bad in this city, And I don't even live in Louisville no more. Like I live in Jeffersonville now,
Look,
and I
I
didn't
saw
move
somebody
over here.
call you out for that, and that shows you. I didn't mean to cut you off, but that shows you how ignorant that comment was.
Yeah, yeah, like
It's
yeah,
like,
like
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
you don't
Somebody
live
tried to
here.
call me
You
out
from
for it.
Indiana.
Yeah, you don't even live here. You from Indiana, like bro. I was born and raised here, but whatever. But it's like my family lives here, and I moved over here not because I felt like I wasn't safe. I moved over because work. I got tired of paying the toll fees. Damn thing was tearing my account up. But it's like it's I live over here in Jeffersonville now, and it's just so much calmer. And I like I told my dad, I told my mom, I'll tell you, bro, if you ever have an opportunity to leave Louisville, if it's something that you feel like it's if you want to wait till the kids you go to college, whatever, take it. At this point, bro, I just that city's just where it's not on a path where it's going to be redeemable. It's just not. It's just going down the drain. I wish there was something that we could do as a community, but I don't have those answers. I really
So
don't. especially
So
with
that's
everything that's going on with the administration up there, because they're not providing no support. You know,
nah,
the
that's crazy in its own self.
yeah, so like we're not getting support we need from the federal level, and it's going to trickle down. If you're not going to get the support from the federal level, you definitely not going to get it from the state level. If you can get it from the state, you're not going to get it from the city level, so on and so forth. And it's like we really going to either have to put our heads together and figure this out, or
So
let
what
me
I
shut
do
up.
wanna put out there right now is shout out to Hulk. He has a nonprofit Inside the Lines. I bumped into Demarian over the weekend. I ain't seen him in a minute. Shout out to him with the sowing seeds with faith. And it's like I would love to sit down and pick their brains and kind of get their thoughts on how they feel in regards to a lot of this, because at the end of the day, Louisville is a big city. And even with all of their efforts combined, you can only do so much. You can't save them
Hmm.
all. So,
Hmm.
like you said, if everybody comes together as a collective and figure out things to do, and it's like shout out to a lot of these teachers here for JCPS, because they have to deal with it on a regular, a daily occurrence. And I'm like, even that in its own self is a hassle. So my heart goes out to them because I view them the same way that I view those security people from yesterday.
Hmm.
It's like I can't imagine having to wake up every single day and you're miserable because you got to go in here and dealing with these kids every single day. And I'm like, that is the starting point in terms of how we've gotten to this point, because you used to view teachers, law enforcement, and things like that, and you had this mutual respect. Like you growing up for us, it was like you thought being a teacher was such a prestigious position to where you looked at them and you gave them the respect because you're like, man, dang, you a teacher.
Hmm.
Where now none of these kids respect the teachers or none of that. So now that the teachers are fed up and they giving off the same energy, like shit, if you don't care, I don't care either. Now
Exactly.
you're treating it like it's just a paycheck. So now if you got a whole school of people who your half your faculty don't even care whether or not these kids are being pushed down the right path. So then once they go to middle school and you just continue that cycle, now you got a whole group of kids that don't give a damn.
Hmm.
And it's like, I don't want to put all of this on the church and things like that, but it's like, bro, like everybody in this city can see that this is a problem. Why are we not coming together, like you said, to try to figure out what are some of the solutions? Because I also get tired of sitting here reading these comments and, well, we see who it is, we see who it always is. And it's like you bring such a negative light to the African American community on top of issues that we already know exist. We're already battling issues already in terms of racism, people, stereotyping us simply because of how we look and how we walk. So when you see a video like that that goes viral yesterday, that's why I don't want to go downtown no more. That's why I want to, like, you're giving everybody the opportunity to label us a certain way. So when do we, the people who don't want to fall into those labels and those categories, when do you say enough is enough?
Hmm. Yeah, these videos do amplify that to the point where it takes everything in my heart not to respond. And I'm learning, because you know how I am, but I love to argue. I love debate. I love the debate. Me and you, we can go back and forth all day long. And I'll never get upset with anything you have to say because I respect you so much. I know at the end of the day, bro, it's just it's iron sharpening iron. And that's how it is. We'll debate all that stuff. But some of these people, man, some of the things they were saying about these individuals yesterday, it hurt my heart for a different reason. Like, they're look how these animals treat the act. Look at these thugs. It's always them. And to the point where you had like Louisville Hood News, the page was trying to combat that by showing individuals in the Caucasian community in fighting and stuff. And I'm thinking, like, bro, you fighting a negative with a negative. That two wrongs don't make it right.
At all.
Just because they're doing it in their community, and it's happening in our community, we should work together to try to stomp out all that shit, regardless if it's in the Caucasian community or the Black community, you know. But at the end of the day, man, I think that, you know, you, myself, the family, kids, everyone out there, we just want to feel safe when we go outside these streets. And, you know, I'm not about to sit here and let these little bad motherfuckers keep me from doing anything. But I will say that, you know, it does give me pause, and it cautions me a little bit. And I just hate feeling like that. I hate having to keep my head on a swivel when I really want to just go out there and have fun and enjoy myself. And right now, with everything's going on, you can't. This is the Kentucky Derby Festival. This is like the biggest thing in this states for the year. Like, you know, the Derby is huge. It's one of one of the most watched events on the planet. This is our time to shine. This is our time to show the world what Louisville's all about. And right now, it's embarrassing. Now we are embarrassing.
It's
You
crazy,
know,
dude.
it's just a
It's crazy.
shameful, you know, event that happened last night. And I just hope that, you know, the parents who actually seen this and they seen their kids out there, I really hope they have a heart to heart with their kids, and let them know that this is not acceptable. You know, I hope they don't just let it go and don't speak on it. I hope they have those conversations, because like I said, it's not going to ratchet down if they continue this. It's only going to ratchet things up. And I fear
Hey,
that someone's going to lose their life over this. And I don't want to go to another funeral or see another Breonna Taylor incident, something like that. Because that's the type of stuff this stuff's going to end up to. These police officers, you can only poke them so much. They're going to defend themselves. You know, you can't keep throwing water and things like that. They're going to do what they have to do to protect not only themselves but the community at large. So,
and considering that this is, you know, we're open carry now, so
mhm,
you don't know if somebody's gonna try to take matters into their own hands, trying to
exactly that
protect
too.
security. So then
Yeah.
you're gonna open up a whole nother can of worms. And that's why I was just like, you know, we consider and speak in hypotheticals and things like that. But I know for myself, growing up, I was your typical teenager. We, you know, did craziness and went to parties, and I done been places where fights done broke out and gunshots done rang out and things like that. But it was like you didn't worry about that happening every single time you went out. Where now it's like, bro, that's the first and last thought that's on my mind. Like, I'm just waiting for something. Like, you just feel like it's gonna happen.
It's
So
not
now
if, but when nowadays.
it's like I don't even want to go. As much as I tell my family, like, man, we need to get out, enjoy the weather, exercise. We used to go to the walking bridge on a regular occurrence. But now it's like so many fights and things. And it's like, dude, I don't even want to be up there on this bridge and something happens and there ain't no way to get down.
The fights
Like,
on this
so
side,
now
fights on that side.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, dude, I remember when I had first moved here, we had got off of work and we went to go play ball. I forgot what park that was.
Was that Shelby
It was
Park? I
close
mean,
to
you was
down-
telling me a story.
Shelby Park.
Shelby Park. You told me a
Shelby,
story.
and I'm like, we're just going to play ball a regular day. And then somebody, because you know it's a one way, so somebody just come
Hmm.
down, pop, 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 pop. Everybody got dropped to the ground. I'm just like, you know what? Nope, never again, never again. It ain't happening. So I'm just like, okay, we've identified the problem on several, you know, occasions, several episodes, and things like that. And hopefully, when people listen to this or watch, like, what are the solutions? Like, we can't keep saying the same little cliche. We need more resources. We need this and that, because people have attempted to do those things, and you still have youth that go in and tear it up. You don't even value it. You know, it's like you can't have it both ways. People are trying to give you opportunities and things. You have to appreciate it.
Yep.
But if you're just gonna come in and destroy that, you know, going back to the YouTube video, I sit there and I watch one where they showed that they had an activity center As soon as they walked in, one of the backboards on the basketball rim was broken. And they was like, usually there's people coming in here dunking, hanging on the rims and things like that. So it's like, bro, if you're not going to value the resources that have been given to you, what makes you think people want to keep coming in and pouring into this community? You're not going to appreciate nothing.
Yeah.
Like, bro, like accountability is it's non-existent, bro. We always want to blame everything for why it happens, but not hold ourselves accountable to change it.
You know what's crazy? I didn't know this, and you mentioned accountability, and I know E said something. Eric said something about this, but we used to have a juvenile corrections area, JCYC, Jefferson County Youth Corrections, and that closed. And I feel like, and I hate to say it, but you got some of your real bad apples. They belong in places like that, bro. Who continue, because like you said, there's no accountability. You
None.
got these kids out here who are constantly fighting, constantly, causing, committing crimes and stuff like that, and because they're under a certain age, they're being released to their parents. No, at some point, man, it's like, no, you can't control your kid. We're gonna have to control your kid, and we're gonna do what we have to do, and and let the cards fall where they lie. But I don't know, man. Whenever you guys decide, if you can get Hulk on the podcast, I would love to be on there, just because I like to hear what he would have to say, and just and just offer up my advice if I can. So just, yeah, but I appreciate you, because I didn't want to be on here for no whole 2 hours or anything like
No,
that.
we definitely ain't finna
Yeah,
do that. Then you
yeah,
just
yeah. But I
yeah,
appreciate you allowing me to come on here, because normally, me, when we do podcasts and stuff, bro, I like to joke. I like to have fun. I want to talk about what's the top 10 burgers and stuff like that. That's what I like to do. But
mm-hmm.
this one really was something that was just, it was really pulling at my soul, that I wanted to get off my chest, just because this is
Absolutely.
the city I grew up in, man, and it just doesn't look the same no more. Really
Not at
doesn't.
all. Not at all. No, most
So,
definitely. Like I said, I'm gonna reach out to Hulk. Like I said, man, we was in conversation. I want to say last summer, and I keep telling people, and maybe that's where I need to hold myself accountable when I say, man, the mic is always open. Like, it sounds like such a cliche answer,
mhm.
but I'm being truthful. Like, you hit me up, it's like, hey man, I want to talk about this today. I'm like, hey, I'm here at the house. Let's go. I really mean that. Like, I don't care what the topic is. We'll plug in and figure out how to make it work. So I always tell people, like, man, the mic is always open. Pull up. But I guess, some people may take that as, oh, he just saying that shit.
Mm.
I'm like, I truly mean it. So like I said, we went to his 40th birthday over the weekend, and shout out to his wife and stuff that put all that together. Such a nice event. And that's what it should be about, bro. Like,
Like,
black people should be able to come together and have a good, fun atmosphere. It was, drinks, food, dancing, and not one fear of, man, I hope nothing happen tonight. So, like, we got to figure out how we can get back to that. But I'll
yeah,
definitely reach out to him. Like I said, he's got a nonprofit, Inside the Lines. Shout out to, again, Demarian with Sowing Seeds with Faith, and figure out what it is that they are currently doing, or what other alternatives that they would like to incorporate. And if more people can get behind them to see if we can bring some of that to light, then I'm all for it.
love
So
that. I
definitely
love that.
appreciate your time, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate that.
No problem. For those that are listening, watching, again, please be sure to subscribe to the I Respectfully Disagree podcast. I got a few subscribers last week off a couple of them episodes that we done. So the road to 1,000 continues. Again, man, this stuff ain't free. I don't want to sound like
We're gonna
I'm
get
begging.
there. We're gonna get you there. You're gonna
Uh,
get there.
I have the capabilities. You know how them people do where you can buy stars and
Oh,
stuff
I
like
think I
that?
lost you.
Can you hear me? Well, I'll go on and close it out anyway. I have the capability to where
I can't
you
hear
can
you, but I
do.
think I lost you. But
All right, I'm closing it out
thanks for
anyway.
having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I have the capabilities to where I can do where you pay for the stars and pay for things like that. But I don't want to ask people for money. I don't want to ask people to donate and things like that, bro. I just want to grow it organically, have people genuinely come towards the podcast. And I understand that, hey, some people may not want to hear me sound like I'm preaching and things like that. But the whole purpose of this is just to have some fun with it, get conversations going. And it ain't necessarily always got to be drama filled, celebrity gossip and things like that. So appreciate everybody that enjoys rocking with the podcast. Again, tell a friend to tell a friend, and we out.
Ass toasted, no competition. Amisha coasting. I feel so high, I feel so live. My body's in the twine. Amisha coasting. I feel so live, and I know why. That I can't deny. Amisha coasting. Giddy, fine wine, fools, malt liquor. Wish me I'm high class.